Namaste. Konnichiwa. I'm very happy to participate in this Japanese Society for Anti-Aging's uh, conference online. I am Suresh Ratan, and I am speaking to you from Aarhus University, Department of Molecular Biology and Genetics in Denmark. And we are dealing with the question of anti-aging in this conference. The first issue becomes that actually what do we want to do with this when we use the term anti-aging? Do we want to become young again? Or do you want to become old but slowly? Or we keep becoming old but maintain health? Or the fourth option is, shall we get rid of death completely? Yeah? And that will also get rid of aging. So what does anti-aging mean? As you notice in this slide, is the third point which attracts me more. That because of this complex biological process, let it become old while maintaining health. How can that be done? This is the aim of this short lecture, which I would like to share with you. That, okay, we would like to talk about aging in the context of this phenomenon of hormesis, which may be a new term for some of you. Now, hormesis idea is that if we expose a biological system, our cells or our bodies, to mild levels of stress, to low levels of stress repeatedly, then we expect to gain lots of health benefits. That is the phenomenon of hormesis. There are various ways of doing it, and we'll come to that. But in order to apply this approach of hormesis in anti-aging or healthy aging, as I prefer to call it, we need to maybe understand a little bit more about this hormesis phenomenon. So hormesis is basically a biphasic dose response. Yeah? There is no linear curves in hormesis that more toxicity and more effect. All compounds, radiations, toxins are shown to have biphasic curve, that at low level they have sometimes positive effects before becoming negative effects. These are also known as U-shaped curves or adaptive curves or J-shaped curves. These are various terminologies for hormesis phenomenon. And then the phenomenon when a low level stress or the biphasic part of the curve, the first part where the low level stress has, say, positive effects, then becoming toxic at a higher level, is called the phenomenon of hormesis. And any condition which causes hormesis, we have coined the term hormetin for that. And the whole field can be known as the science of hormetics. Yeah? So the best example of a hormetin which causes hormesis is exercise, physical exercise. Why is physical exercise good? Because it causes actually a low level of stress. And that results into many good things, which I will talk a little bit later. So how to apply hormesis and hormetin in the science of hormetics for health and longevity? So far, during the last 50 or 60 years of research in aging, especially biogerontology, biological basis of aging, we have really described and understood the phenomenon of aging tremendously. We know what happens at the population level, at the individual level, within the individual various tissues, organs, systems, further down at the metabolic processes inside the cell. So there's a whole range of studies are available, thousands and thousands of papers, which is a great achievement, which shows that actually we have been able to describe what happens during aging, all the way down to molecular level. And now the question comes, okay, what do we want to do with that information? Now, from those studies, there are three basic principles of aging which emerge. which will then define that actually what do we mean by intervention, or what do we want to do and what we don't want to do. So 3 general principles of aging are, first of all, aging which happens in the post-reproductive age after we have grown up, matured, and given rise to the next generation. Like in this painting, you can see that is the downhill path. Yeah, downhill path of the story, that when first the child grows up and then aging starts. And once aging starts, it's happening due to internal reasons. It's intrinsic, it's progressive, it happens more and more. It is impairing. Generally, everything is downhole, it's a loss of function. It is not improvement in biology, but it is basically loss of function and increase in fragility and chances of death. And then, very important part is that evolution has not made any genes to cause it. There are no gerontogenes which kill us. There is no enemy inside, but aging still happens, and I will explain then how do we deal with that fact. There are no genes which cause aging. Genes influence our lifespan, our survival, our health. All those things are controlled by genes, but not our death. Our death is not determined by any genes. Our aging is not determined by our genes, because then it will be actually easy. If you have a gene which causes aging, we can eliminate the gene. So that is a very important understanding of aging. And the third is that aging is very heterogeneous. No 2 people become old in the same way. No 2 parts of the body become old in the same way. No 2 cells become old in the same way. No 2 molecules become old in the same way. So anti-aging becomes a really, really challenging question, because you cannot make a miracle single drug or a pill or an injection to take care of the all aging situations. This is the very, very important understanding of aging. That is why we need these holistic mean which is multiple levels at a time. So this slide which I showed you earlier also, where we know what is related, but we cannot go from the bottom to up individually, like improving telomere, improving mTOR, interfering in this, interfering in that. Usually it doesn't work. That reductionistic approach does not work on aging situation. It can help sometime with some serious physical problems, etc., but it does not do really anything to the whole process of aging. And that's why we need to have this, what we call the holistic approach of hormesis. Why I call it holistic? Because let's take the example of physical exercise also, which is the most powerful hormetin we know. Now, physical exercise, if I do the exercise even of just my legs, it gives me the whole body benefits. Yeah, my cognition improves, my mood improves, my immune system improves, my other hormonal signaling improves. So it is not a single target oriented approach. It's a holistic approach where you do something and that effect gets multiplied and amplified at the whole body level. And that is the most fascinating interventional strategy for aging research, or into anti-aging research or healthy aging research. I will just give you some short examples of some of the work which we have been doing in our laboratories in Aarhus University in Denmark for the last almost 30 years. And using the approach of hormesis, that you use little bit of stress of different type and then see what happens. And we have studied cellular aging in this Hayflick phenomenon, lifespan of such cells, wound healing and cell migration, cell differentiation of bone cells, angiogenesis of endothelial cells, and then also the tolerance to other stresses. These are some of the areas we have been studying for a long time. Just as examples, I will show you some that, for example, this is the normal way we grow human skin cells in the culture, and they become old in the laboratory in about 1 year, for which we use 37-degree temperature. But if I give them mild heat shock, which induces this stress response, heat shock response, they can be given twice a week at 41 degrees centigrade for 1 hour only. And cells do not age to the same extent. they stay younger looking, they perform better. A lot of work was then done on this fundamental observation, how mild heat shock, which is something similar to sauna maybe. Then we have also worked on how angiogenesis, this blood vessel formation in endothelial cells, can be improved by repeated mild heat shock. We can also show data on using some plant components like curcumin in turmeric, which also is actually a stress-causing compound, but that improves wound healing in a dose-response manner. Then we have also done things that if you give starvation or fasting once a week, taking away the food of human cells in the laboratory condition, not giving them food for only one day a week, it increases their lifespan. It improves their aging phenotype. These are all the examples of even giving, there's a stress hormone, cortisols at low level, improves the survival and functioning of the cell, including wounding. These are just a few examples to show that experimentally so much data are available to showing that different types of stresses in different doses, different conditions, different animals, different cell types work as hormesis. They improve the stability of health. They improve health. They even recover health. So what is the basic molecular mechanism behind it? Why stress improves health? Because we all know that stress is bad. And we are so always terrified of stress. Yes, stress is bad if it is not of your choice and if it is not low level. If stress is high level and continuous and not of your choice, then it is bad. That is the second part of the curve where it is damaging, the red part. But the green part, when you can control the stress and you can get benefits. And the reason is that all our cells have these 7 major pathways of stress response. Like when I give heat shock to cells, cells respond by what we call heat shock response. They make many different types of chaperones. These HSP70, HSP90. There is huge amount of data available on that what is heat shock response. So what do these proteins do? Then they try to repair the protein damage or get rid of the bad things. Similarly, when we do intermittent fasting or starvation, short time starvation, what is the first response which comes? That's autophagy. The cell tries to increase its own utilization of the sources, and generally it cleans up the system. If we use the radiation stress, if radiation is given small doses, it activates DNA repair systems. And then you get benefits. And if you have some oxidants, what we call oxidants like these spices, they actually, curcumin, cause damage. But that will increase or stimulate the antioxidative response. And antioxidative response will go beyond the whole thing and you will get antioxidative effects. So there are 7 major pathways which are very well known in biochemistry and molecular biology. So I will, for example, this is just a complex table showing that we know exactly everything when you give which kind of stress, what will be the immediate effect, what will be the later effects, how those things will bring the eventual benefits. So one can read a lot about that, but in this short lecture, I will just refer to that this area of hormetics, the science of hormesis, is so well advanced now that people are trying so many kinds of stresses, so many kinds of experimental systems to show that actually those are the holistic anti-aging interventions instead of a single target-oriented approach, which often fails. So we don't want to follow those. Single target has its own, say, relevance and benefits or application, but hormesis is, in my understanding, a very powerful way of intervening in the aging process as such and get benefits out of it. So the stress is, I have already used the term hormetins, that hormetin is a condition which causes hormesis, which can be beneficial at low level and repeated level. So there are basically 3 categories of hormetin. The first is physical hormetins, in which the best example I have already been mentioning is physical exercise. Physical exercise is a hormetin. If it causes damage, it produces more free radicals, it produces acids, and that's where the stress response pathways take care of our survival and body's defense mechanisms. So physical hormetins is exercise, heat. That's where maybe sauna, which is used in many cultures and in Japan especially, that people have been using for hundreds of years and feel benefits, although there is not much research on that yet, but still data are coming. Low levels of radiation, right from anti-cancer to anti-aging. Now, this sounds paradoxical, but yes, again, remember that biphasic. First, you have the beneficial effects before anything becomes damaging. The second category of hormetins which one can mention is mental hormetins, the exercise of the brain. Yeah, when we play chess, when we play Sudoku, yeah, when we do any other mental exercises, they work by actually creating stress in the brain and you get benefit. Even meditation paradoxically comes under that category, that when you try to focus your attention, when you are concentrating, that actually creates various stress responses in the body, and then you feel good about it later on. But the most popular and prevalent area of research in Hormesis is what we call the nutritional hormetins. A lot of things which we eat in the food are actually good because they are hormetins. They cause challenge, and there is a lot of research going on with that. And the other side of the nutritional hormetin is fasting. When we do not eat for a day once a week, then it increases autophagy, and then you get benefits. In the nutritional hormetins, there are hundreds of compounds being tested. Polyphenols, flavonoids, all the spices, some of these curcumin, quercetin, also in green tea. Those things are antioxidative by result, not by causation. They cause actually damage, they cause a little bit of stress, and we get benefits. So this is a very, very important area of research which is being tested by lots of industry, functional food industry, cosmetic industry, that some of the things, not some, actually many of the things in our food, especially spices, which have no nutritional value. Nutrition means carbohydrate, proteins, and fat. But they have certain other value, either as micronutrients in terms of hormetins. They create challenge for the system. They create challenge for the cells and the body, and then you get benefit. So a lot of scientists like myself and others are trying to combine these various approaches. Which kind of hormetins can be combined with which kind of physical hormetin and nutritional hormetin, and what should be the sequence of use. Yeah, like exercise and spicy food. Should one take spicy food before exercise or after exercise? I don't have much time to go into those details, but this is just to give a carry home message that these nutritional hormetins so don't call everything as antioxidants. No, they are usually pro-oxidants, which gives you the benefits. All the spices come under that category. And a lot of new compounds can be discovered and synthesized. And that's where this is one of my papers where I detail the strategy that if you take a new compound and you want to check whether it's potentially health beneficial, will it be hormetic or not, then this is the way to do it, that you take and start testing first on one of the cell types, and if you see the induction of stress responses, one or more out of those 7, then you know, this is on the pathway to becoming hormetic. And then you can take that stress pathway and study whether it makes the proteins which are supposed to do the job, like HSP70, HSP90, increasing autophagy, inducing sirtuins, increasing anti-inflammatory markers, whatever those kind of responses we have already done. And then you go through that to the higher level, to the system, to human use. And people are using this strategy to develop and discover and develop new hormetins. And there are cosmetics produced on that. Lots of functional foods contain that. Although the term hormetin is not being used because we are more used to antioxidant as a word. But these are not direct antioxidants. Direct antioxidants are also there. which directly take away free radicals. But actually, hormetins are not direct antioxidants. They are not direct beneficiary. They are indirect. They start the process. Just like, again, physical exercise. Physical exercise starts the body's own process to take care of itself and defend it and promote it. So this is one of the most promising, futuristic, holistic areas of anti-aging interventions. I don't think we will be coming out with any magical single pills which will take care of everything in the body for everybody. Yeah, because aging is heterogeneous. Aging is very individualistic. Therefore, developing these areas of hormesis and hormetins, that is, in my opinion and in my understanding of this field of aging, is that opens up the possibilities of living a healthy life as long as possible. It will affect certain rate of aging. It will slow down aging. It will not get rid of death completely, but it will keep me healthy for a longer time of my lifespan. We have also published several books on that, compiled books. These are just examples of 3 international books and one of my general book on age as a sociological, philosophical, biological situation. So that is my final carry-home message for you in this Congress, the Japanese Society of Anti-Aging Conference, that aging needs to be modulated. It needs to be affected by interventions to maintain health so that we can have our life as beautiful, as long, and as healthy as possible. Thank you very much for your attention.